What's up, y'all? Thanks for coming to hang out with me today. In this box, I've got around 18.5 ounces of 925 sterling silver. And today we're going to try and refine this and see how much pure silver we can get out of this box. And of course, we're going to be as safe as we possibly can with this fume hood, which is the best we could do for $12.35 at Walmart. Now, I know what you're thinking. This is even sketchier and dumber than the stuff that you normally put yourself through. It's a pretty high bar. I get it. I get involved in a lot of sketchy, dumb stuff. And the reason you're thinking that is because you're right. Don't do this at home. I don't understand how this works. Now, this fume hood setup, it looks a lot worse than what it actually is. This is just a little Walmart fan that I crammed into the roof of the fume box. And we're not trying to go for 100% extraction. I will be wearing a gas mask as well. We're just trying to get as much out of the building as we can. No one else is here, and this place is pretty big, so I'm not super concerned about fumes. But if we do a little test here, I think that it's actually going to work pretty well. Yeah, I think that's fine. I think it'll work. So the first thing I'm going to be doing here is going through and burning all of this silver with a blowtorch. Over the years, you stick your hands on this and it gets all kinds of chemicals all over, the sterling silver. It gets handled a lot. And all those chemicals kind of embed themselves into the material. And whenever you start doing chemical reactions on it, which we're going to be doing a lot of today, that can cause some serious havoc with those. So the first thing we're going to do is hit all this stuff with a blowtorch and get as much of those chemicals off as we possibly can. The long and the short of what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be taking all this silver, dissolving it, and putting it into water. That's all this first phase is. We dissolve it, it goes into water, and then we'll worry about getting the silver out later. But yeah, that's it. We're just, using nitric acid, which these days is really hard to get. We are putting it in with our silver and a little bit of distilled water, and we're just making it dissolve into water. That's it. We're just making everything go into water. Next step here, we're going to add 200 milliliters of nitric acid. And this stuff is nasty, so I'm being as careful as I possibly can. So we'll get it up to around 200, and you can see the orange fumes coming off, and it's boiling immediately, which is my cue that I need to put more water in here. Now look, guys, I'm not going to beat around the bush. That was a pretty sketchy situation. I should not have done that. But like I said, don't do what I'm doing at home. This is not a good idea. Oh yeah, these are just regular old chopsticks. I needed a wood spoon, but they were too expensive. Now, as these reactions are slowing down, I am just trickling in a little bit of nitric acid and a little bit of water. Don't want to go too fast like we did the first time around. Looks like we had burned off all of the nitric already. So we're just going to slowly trickle that out. Oh, that's not good. Oh, we're having a bad day.
I don't even think you really know what a bad day is.
Okay, so we had a small overflow incident there. And the reason for that is I think that I had the heat turned up way too high.
We're going to keep going here. Just need to remember to do really, really, really small amounts of nitric whenever we're doing this. Looks pretty cool. So we've got her cooking along pretty well here. Got the fumes pretty well under control for the first time. And we're just going to take it nice and slow and easy. Okay guys, I will tell you one thing that I am struggling with a lot here, and that's getting a nice, smooth, even reaction out of this. It just does not want to go smooth. It's like I add the nitric, it flares up for like 30, 45 seconds, and then the reaction dies down and goes stagnant. So I'm still trying to figure my way around that because I feel like it should be producing the orange fumes pretty regularly. It should be doing that at kind of a constant rate and slowly burning off the acid. But it feels like the acid is just burning off super fast. I've got the burner on probably the lowest setting. Yeah, it's coming in at about 199, 202. Nothing crazy. Shouldn't be too hot, I don't think. So what I've done here is I have done a little bit more research. And what I have found out is that the heat source is more than likely the cause of my really aggressive reactions and why it's just burning off the nitric immediately. And that the solution to that is just to completely take the heat source out of the equation, let it cool off, and then start adding nitric in. More than likely, I don't even need to heat the heat on right now. So I was struggling to make any headway, so I ended up turning the heat back on, but on its absolute lowest setting. And we've been cooking along pretty well since then, but yeah, this takes a lot longer than what you think.
Now, one thing that they don't tell you whenever you start this whole adventure is how long this is all going to take. It's knocking on the door of about 9:30 right now, and I got here at 4. I still have silver dissolving in that beaker. It's taking absolutely insane amounts of time to do that, and really I should have expected that had I done a little bit more research. But yeah, it's definitely taken a lot longer than I expected.
Okay, guys, so here's where I'm at. I don't think that I'm going to be able to fully dissolve every bit of silver that's in this beaker right now. There is a point where it's just you only have so much solubility. You can only fit so much silver in a given amount of liquid. And I still have a bunch of really big pieces in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fish some of those bigger pieces out, and I'm going to go ahead and just extract what I can get out of this particular beaker, and so we can see where we're at. We're going to see what purity we're going to be able to get out of this, and then at another time I will refine the rest of it, because I just don't think I can get any more silver into solution. It's been about an hour, and I haven't seen any of these big pieces get any smaller. I've added nitric, and it just doesn't really seem to be doing anything. So I think I'm at the maximum amount of solubility that I can get out of this batch.
Okay, so here's what I've got left. We've got a bunch of pins and all the really dense stuff, and there's a bunch of gems in there. It's really a pain in the ass to go through and get all of those gems out, especially on those little teeny tiny sterling silver rings. So I just leave them in. They're not going to dissolve in the acid or anything like that. So I just pick through them and get them out like this at the end. Okay, I apologize for the terrible lighting situation, but this is just what it is because we're getting close to about midnight right now. I have our solution. It's been broken down into 2 beakers because we had a ton of solution. There was no way that we were going to get it all done in just one of these beakers. So Next part of this, we're going to add some muriatic acid, or I think it's called hydrochloric acid. Muriatic's what you're going to call it if you go to Home Depot to buy it, right? Once we add that, we're going to get some reactions here that I believe are going to look super cool. And then we're going to go ahead and rinse those off once we get them all mixed up. So let's go ahead and give this a whirl and see what we get. Oh, that was pretty cool. Got our handy dandy chopsticks. And we're just gonna mix it up. It makes a pretty cool mixture, I'm not gonna lie. Looks pretty neat. Just keep mixing it up. I don't like this stuff. This stuff smells terrible. Yeah, we're still getting reactions. Not a lot though. That actually might be it. I believe that once it starts turning yellow, that's kind of the deal. Yeah, I don't think we're getting any more. I don't think we're getting any more silver chloride out of this. I'm going to add a little bit of distilled water to each of these and then mix it up, and then we're going to try again. Just to be 100% sure, I don't want to be throwing away any more silver than we've already thrown away today. We'll just do a dab. Yeah, no white. It's just coming out yellow. Yeah, no more reactions. That's just what we get. And we're gonna let this stuff settle for a little bit and then we'll come back. Okay, so next, all this blue stuff has gotta go. So we're gonna get to getting rid of this. And this is surprisingly warm. This is way warmer than I thought it would be. We'll just pour it off into our wastewater. Oop. Didn't want to do that. I lost about a quarter-sized chunk of silver chloride. It's a good thing this stuff is, super diluted. And then we're just going to keep rinsing it until we get all of this blue out. All this blue's got to go. We'll just mix it up a bit. And I believe this also gets rid of the hydrochloric acid as well, or at least neutralizes it. But we just want to be left with our silver chloride is all we want to have left. And I bet you're wondering why I'm spending this much time on this portion of the refining. And the reason for that is this is about the purity of the end product. Everything up to this point has just been getting silver out of the state that it was in. This is the part where you're actually getting all of the contaminants out of it. We want 4 nines purity out of this. And this blue coloring that's in here, that's copper. And that's the #1 contaminant that is in sterling silver. That's what they usually mix it with. So there is a ton of copper in this stuff. I am not going to stop until these are completely clear. All right, guys, I know that the lighting is bad in here, but bear with me. That's about as good as it gets. I do not see a hint of blue. I don't know if it's going to come across on your screen or not, but it looks pretty damn clear where I'm sitting. Okay, so this is lye, or sodium hydroxide. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to dump some into this and some into this, and what we're looking for over a little period of time is we're looking for this to turn jet black. It's also going to get super hot at 180 degrees Fahrenheit, and then once that temperature starts to come back down and these two beakers are jet black, we'll know that we're there. And there's a pretty stout reaction right from the jump. So, got our handy dandy chopsticks, and we're gonna get, oh, it's making all kinds of steam. See that? See it steaming up? Should do this at the start a little bit slower, I guess. Well, just keep on mixing, see where we end up. All right, this is going to be the last of the lye. Then we're going to let her cool down. Okay guys, it's been about 30 minutes. I've waited for this to cool down. It is just not doing it. We're still cooking at about 150 degrees. Now we're going to add some sugar to it, and that is going to help separate things out. Now I've transferred it into this bucket because apparently there is a high likelihood for boil over. So I will be adding this sugar in very, very slowly. And it's supposed to get up to about 180 to 215 degrees. So that should be very exciting. I am not going to put a whole lot of sugar in here to start with. Very, very small amounts. I think this is going to do a lot more than what a lot of people think it is. Okay, this beaker looks like it's ready to go. I'm going to bring it in here real close. You could probably see the line where the sediment differentiates from our nice silver at the bottom. And I'm going to put a little bit of light on there, and I'm hoping that you guys will be able to see a little bit more clearly. But what we're after is just the stuff on the bottom. That should be clean 999 silver. But we have to rinse all of that lye and all of that sugar out before we can try and melt it down. So that's what we're doing here. We are going to be rinsing sugar for probably the next hour. Ooh, that's still freaking hot. Okay, it is about 2 o'clock in the morning, and I have rinsed and rinsed and rinsed. I've got about 10 gallons through just this beaker alone. I don't even have enough to go and rinse out that other beaker. I'm gonna have to do that another day. But man, this entails a lot, and I mean a lot of rinsing. So let's go ahead, let's get this dried out, and we'll melt it up and see what we've got. Okay, y'all, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking that this looks like a pretty sketchy setup. And the reason you're thinking that is because you're right. And it's also 3 o'clock in the morning, and I don't care. Now, I've got 40 grams of cemented silver that's still a little bit moist sitting in this melt dish right now. I'm thinking that once it dries out, it should be at least an ounce, probably a little bit over. But tomorrow we'll take this to a coin shop, have them test it, and tell us how pure the silver we refined actually is. All right, y'all, so we got ourselves about an ounce worth of 999 silver, or we hope is 999 silver. I will be very disappointed if it's below 98. Again, it is my first time. It does look good, but obviously, by the naked eye, you can't tell exactly what the percentage is going to be. But I'm pretty happy with this little guy. For sure, I would have liked to have got a lot more considering what I put in, but I still have a ton left to process. I don't know what that yield's going to be. It's probably going to take me another couple of weeks before I get the chance to come back and finish those out. But I'll drop a community post or something like that. So drop me a subscription and you'll get updated in the future. But let's go ahead and cut to the coin shop tomorrow, and they'll tell us exactly what the purity is on this. All right, y'all. We are at Queen City Rare Coin in Cincinnati, Ohio. I have my 1 ounce gold nugget. We're about to go in and see what the purity is on this. I don't have high hopes. I don't think it's going to be very good, but yeah, we'll find out. What's up, y'all? I just left the coin shop and they gave me a reading of 99. They did not give me a reading of 99.
They did not.
What's up, y'all? I just left the coin shop. They gave me a reading of 90.5, which, yeah, is super low. Obviously, I'm a bit disappointed in that. However, the guys at the coin shop, they were super cool. And what they told me is that's actually pretty good for a first time refining compared to what they normally see. Obviously, you'd want it to be at 99.999. To get the maximum purity out of it possible. Next time I'm definitely going to do a silver cell, and that should pretty much guarantee us to get to 99.999%. We might have to do it once or twice to get it to that point, but it's definitely attainable. I really didn't want to do that the first time around because I did not want to sacrifice any of my pure, nice silver rounds, because you have to sacrifice that to make the electrolyte for it. But yeah, I definitely learned a lot. I've got to go through and refine the rest of this anyways, and this one's definitely not pure because I ran out of water whenever I was rinsing these at the end. So I think that there's still some stuff in here, like some lye. I think that that's probably what's a lot of this impurity is from, is the lye. I don't think that I got all of that out of this. But yeah, definitely super disappointed, but I'll be back again with the silver cell. We'll come back here to Queen City Rare Coin and have them test that whenever we get done with the silver cell. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. If you guys like this type of video, especially if you like motorcycle videos, car videos, school bus videos, I have a lot of those on my page. If you're interested in that, tune in, check out my other videos. But until next time, thanks for tuning in.